श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम्। ॐ अखण्डानन्दसम्बोधः वन्दनात् यस्य जायते गोविन्दं तमहं वन्दे चिदानन्दतनुं गुरुम्. So we are seeing regarding the Vairagya shlokas, regarding the Vairagya, we are seeing after a gap of some period. We saw till 84th shloka. Now 85th shloka. Sukhamiti malarāśau ye ramante'tra gehe krimaya iva kalatrakṣetraputrānuṣaktyā surapada iva teṣāṃ naiva mokṣaprasaṅga apitu nirayagarbhāvāsaduḥkhapravāhaḥ. Sukhamiti malarāśau ye ramante'tra gehe krimaya iva kalatrakṣetraputrānuṣaktyā surapada iva teṣāṃ naiva mokṣaprasaṅga apitu nirayagarbhāvāsaduḥkhapravāhaḥ. Very good. He says malarāśau krimaya iva. Malarāśau. Rashi means group, collection. Mala means impurities, filth. Okay. In the filth, in a lump of filth, in a group of filth, or let us put it simply, in a sewage tank. Okay, in a sewage tank. Krimaya iva. Krimaya means worms. Like there are worms in the sewage tank which flourish in it. They enjoy that. Similarly, kalatrakṣetraputrānuṣaktyā, because of the attachment. Anushakti means attachment. Because of the attachment for kalatra, husband, wife, kshetra, the property, wealth. Okay, kshetra, wealth. Putra means son, etc. Progeny. So, kalatra can be husband or wife. The seventh house in the astrological chart, is the kalatrasthana. Okay. Now, putrānuṣaktyā, because of the attachment to these, putreshana, vitteshana, dharayeshana, because of the attachment to these, atra gehe surapade iva sukhamiti. He thinks that this house itself is the happiest thing, like the heaven. There is nothing like house. It's heaven. That is what he thinks. He thinks it not as equivalent to heaven. It is more than heaven actually. There are statements which say, if you have a good family, if you have a good house, you don't have to worry about anything else. Those are statements, yes, true, but that doesn't mean you should not desire for liberation. That's your nature. So you should not be attracted towards these things. That is what is the attached towards this thing and attracted towards this thing. That is what is said here. Okay. So ye ramante, those people who enjoy, like the worm in the sewage tank, these people, they enjoy this house. Okay, teṣāṃ, for them, naiva mokṣaprasaṅga. There is not even a talk regarding the moksha. They are not even qualified to even talk about moksha. Apitu. But what are they eligible for then? But niraya. Niraya means hell. Garbhavasa. We saw different types of hell. They are only eligible for hell. Garbhavasa. Garbhavasa means being entering the womb. We saw what are the difficulties when you enter the womb, etc. So, dukkha pravaha, this flow of sorrow, the flow of pain will be there continuously. They cannot escape it. There is a beautiful shloka, because I see surapada and I see krimaya, malarāśau. I remember this shloka. Sura means suvar in Hindi means pig. Okay. Pigs enjoy the sewage, right? So there is a story. Also said with regards to Narada. When Narada asked about the time, what is time? to make him understand what time is, in a second, Vishnu made him to go through a great amount of experience. This is also said in the Puranas with respect to Indra. Okay, Indra once took a form of a pig and created havoc in the earth. So people who were troubled by this pig, they went to this rishi and complained to him. Sir, say this is the problem. We are being troubled by this pig. Rishi, being a rishi, he saw through what this fellow is. He saw Indra clearly, and he said, Indra, since you are doing this kind of naughty thing, nonsense, so I curse you to be born as a pig. Since you seem to enjoy this, I curse you to have that itself as a permanent thing. Then when he pleads, then he says, okay, fine, I'll give you this time limit, etc. Okay. Now he is born as a pig. He is in the sewage tank, wherever that filters, and he gets acquainted with this lady pig. We cannot call it a wife. Okay. Anyway, let us for discussion sake, let her be a wife. So he is associated with this lady pig, and because of this association, he begets many piglets progeny, and he is enjoying his life thoroughly in this ditch, this sewage tank. Now, when his time for coming back, meaning the curse to end, comes, Brahmaji comes to this Indra, the pig Indra, not pig Indra, Indra the pig, comes to Indra the pig and tells him, hey Indra, you are not a pig actually, you are Indra actually. You are in this kind of a worse situation. Come back. You are Lord of heaven. What heaven? This is heaven. What kind of heaven you are talking about? There is no hell or heaven, etc. This is heaven. Brahmaji tries to argue with him, but you can't argue with idiots, I have told. We know that. You can't argue with idiots and you can't wrestle with a pig. So they both enjoy it. Now he says, okay, let me not get into this kind of thing. So he says, okay, he is not ready to come. So the other deities of the heaven, they want their king back. So what they do is they see, okay, he's attached to his wife and kids, right? Let me do one thing. I'll remove one of the kids. So he makes it disappear or kills or destroys something. So he the deities remove one piglet. But it affects the Indra. And he says, oh, okay. Now instead of he gaining vairagya because of that pain, he gets into it more. This is the biggest problem. Pain should lead us to vairagya, but we want to remove that pain through more. So what happens is this sorrow of losing one child becomes more attachment to the other child, other children, other piglets. So the deities remove one by one each. They make one by one. They make the piglets disappear. So there is no piglet. Indra, the pig, he says, okay, don't worry. I have my wife, this lady. So I'll create more piglets. So they say, okay, let us make this wife disappear. Now, when he lost his wife, that pig, one pig, so he says, okay, this is a big problem. But then, being a pig, he gets associated with another pig, another wife, and starts the creation again. Now, Brahmaji says, you people are idiot. You have to cut the problem from the source. Removing the bodies of the other things which he is attached to is not important. Removing his own body, which he is more attached to, is important. So through his yoga maya, the power of yoga, the power of maya, he removes that body. Indra comes back and he says, "What is this? Why are we standing here next to the sewage tank?" Brahmaji says, "You were there enjoying it. You were calling it as heaven. And now you call it a sewage tank, right?" So this is what it is. They can't even think about something better than that. They are, when you experience a pain, which you call it a big, huge pain, but what do? Instead of escaping the source of the pain, you get into another issue, same kind of issue, to gain more pain. So he says, yeṣāmāśā, next. yeṣāmāśā nirāśā syāddārāpatyadhanādiṣu teṣāṃ sidhyati nānyeṣāṃ mokṣaśābhimukhī gatiḥ. yeṣāmāśā nirāśā syāt. Beautiful. dhārāpatyadhanādiṣu teṣāṃ sidhyati nānyeṣāṃ mokṣaprasaṅga gatiḥ. So what should see for him? There is no possibility of those people who are attached to the house, etc., to gain the desire for moksha, right? So what is the means to get the desire for moksha? So he says, yeṣāmāśā nirāśā syāt dhārāpatyadhanādiṣu teṣāṃ sidhyati nānyeṣāṃ mokṣaabhimukhī gatiḥ. Beautiful. yeṣāṃ, for whom dhārāpatyadhanādiṣu nirāśā āśā syāt. Beautiful. This nirāśā means disappointment. Nirāśā normally is used in the sense of disappointment in the world. Nirāśā here is not disappointment, it is detachment. In the dispassion, one who has asha, passion. In the detachment, one who has attachment. We should be attached to the detachment. We should be attached to the detachment. There is a shloka there is a poem, poem. It's a couplet in Tirukkural, text called Tirukkural. He says, Thiruvalluvar is the author. He says there, பற்றற்றான் பற்றினை பற்றுக அப்பற்று அரற்கு. பற்றற்றான் பற்றினை பற்றுக. Hold on to the feet of the one who has no desires. Be attached to the one who has no attachments. Why? To get rid of that attachment. So be attached to the one who has no attachment to get rid of the attachment. Therefore, here says, asha nirāśā. One who has to have desire in desirelessness. Beautiful. This is like that shloka which I said. Anekadantam bhaktānām ekadantam upāsmahe. Anekadantam, multiple tooth for the devotees, and they worship single tooth one. Similarly here also, it's a play with words. Nirāśā āśā syāt. One who has a desire for desirelessness. For what desirelessness? Desirelessness of what? Dhārāpatyadhanādiṣu. With respect to the dhara, wife, husband. Dhara means wife or husband. Patti, apatya, not patti. Apatya means kids, progeny. Dhanādishu, wealth, etc. In all these things which we are attached to, in those things one who has no attachment, teṣāṃ, for them, mokṣaabhimukhīṃ gatiḥ sidhyati. They turn towards the moksha. They have their sight turned towards the moksha. Nānyeṣāṃ, not for anyone else. See, dhārāpatyadhanādiṣu. The scientists also don't have attachment to wife, kids, etc. They are only interested in their research things. If you give them the setup for doing research, they are not interested in the world. They can just be engrossed in that. So they also can be eligible for being a seeker, right? So for that, next shloka he says, satkarmakṣatapāpmanāṃ śrutimatāṃ śuddhātmāṃ dhīmatām nityānityapadārthaśodhanamidaṃ yuktyā muhuḥ kurvatām tasmādutthamahāviraktyasimatāṃ mokṣaikakāṅkṣāvatāṃ dhanyānāṃ sulabhaṃ priyādi vishayeshvāśālātāśedhanam satkarmakṣatapāpmanāṃ śrutimatāṃ śuddhātmāṃ dhīmatām nityānityapadārthaśodhanamidaṃ yuktyā muhuḥ kurvatām tasmādutthamahāviraktyasimatāṃ mokṣaikakāṅkṣāvatāṃ dhanyānāṃ sulabhaṃ priyādi vishayeshu āśālatā chedhanam. Sulabhaṃ, it is easy for whom? Dhanyānāṃ. Dhanya, the blessed people. For that dhanya, that's the adjectified. For that, the adjectives are these, whatever is said in the beginning. Okay, we'll come to that later. Now, it is easy for these people who are blessed. Which is easy? Chedhanam, to cut, to fell. Cut what? Lata, the creeper. What kind of creeper? Āśā, the creeper of attachment. Where do we have this? Priyādi vishayeshu, the attachment to the objects of priya, etc. We already saw, when we see an object, the joy we experience is called as priya. When we gain that, the joy we experience is called as moda. When we experience it, the joy, the happiness which we experience is called as pramoda. So the objects which have these priya, etc., the attachment to those objects, that is the creeper. That is like creeper. Why creeper? Why didn't he use any other word? He used lata chedhanam. Because he is also using asimatam, sword, one who has sword. So with sword, he can cut also something else. Why creeper? Lata. Lata is also a name for girls. Lata. Now he says creeper. Lata chedhanam. To cut the creeper off. Why? Because creeper basically is a parasite. Creepers, they creep attached to something else and suck whatever is the energy which flows through that, whichever it is attached to, associated with. So this attachment also is like a creeper. Whichever we are associated with, it sucks all the energy towards that instead of our focus towards the moksha. It doesn't let us to focus on moksha. It sucks all that energy and spends it on itself, the object of attachment. So it is easy for these people, these blessed people, to cut that creeper. Who are these blessed people? So satkarmakṣatapāpmanāṃ, first. Śrutimatāṃ, second. Śuddhātmāṃ, third. Śrutimatāṃ, fourth. nityānityapadārthaśodhanamidaṃ yuktyā muhuḥ kurvatām, fifth. tasmādutthamahāviraktyasimatāṃ, sixth. mokṣaikakāṅkṣāvatāṃ, seventh. There are 7 adjectives to that blessed person. What are they? satkarmakṣatapāpmanāṃ. One who has gotten rid of the papa through satkarma. Satkarmakṣata. One who has destroyed through satkarma the papas, through good karmas the bad karmas, through punya the papa. That is the first qualification. Second one is śrutimatāṃ. He should be learned. He should have heard the Vedanta. He should have studied the text. Śuddhātmāṃ. Should be a learned one. Śuddhātmāṃ. He should have to have a pure heart. Dhīmatām. Fourth is important quality. Dhīmatām, a person with intellect. See, first he says śrutimatāṃ. You should have to have heard things, studied. Now he says you should also use your own intellect. See, you are taught something, that does not mean that you understand it. You should have to also use your own brain. There is a usage. You cannot live for a long time with others' knowledge and with the packed food. There is a usage saying like that. Similarly here, let us make it simple. Fire burns. It is hot. If you touch, it will burn you. You tell someone. Do the kids understand it? No. They'll try to, what is heat? Now, after becoming dhīmatām, will they ever touch the fire? No. So, one is a learning, the other is a knowledge. So, he should have to have the learning and the knowledge. With this learning and knowledge, learning aided by knowledge, what happens? nityānityapadārthaśodhanamidaṃ yuktyā muhuḥ kurvatām. He kurvatām. One, he practices what? Nityānityapadārthaśodhanam. Imam nityānityapadārthaśodhanam. He practices the inquiry into the nitya and anitya. What is eternal and what is non-eternal? This does not mean that we have to, like we have this cake or rice cake, we call it, any cake. So you put it in oven or you steam it. You don't open the steam and then check every second. Or like you plant a radish or you plant a radish root or something. Now you don't check every now and then whether we have radish or not. You have to leave it for some time, right? So he says, nityānityapadārthaśodhanam. You have to inquire into what is eternal and what is non-eternal. That does not mean you have to hold on, take everything and check, oh, eternal, non-eternal. No, you don't go on categorizing things, each and everything, because general categorization is good enough. Self is eternal, non-self is non-eternal. Simple. That is what we studied in the beginning with respect to Veka. Atma nityam, tat anyat sarvam anityam. Atma is eternal, everything else is non-eternal. That is itself. That is enough. We don't have to go on categorizing things. There's no point in it. It is like plucking each one of the radish to check if there is a radish underneath. It has grown or not. Okay. So that too, yuktyā, with the logic. Muhuḥ. Again and again. I have inquired into eternal, not eternal. Oh, long back. No. Every now and then we should have to be very careful, vigilant. Muhuḥ yuktyā. Without yukti, logic, there is no mukti. Yukti gives mukti. You have to remember that. Yukti gives mukti. Now, there is one thing here. We see this. Logic is not always right, actually. Sometimes maybe you don't see the proper logic. That is the problem many times. How? See, if we say we have a circle, we know the circle is arched, right? When we go to the main road, we have the circle where we have to turn and all that. We've seen that enough. Now let us suppose that circle is a 300 kilometers in radius. 300 kilometers in radius. From the center point, you draw a circle 300 kilometers. Now, if you are going to travel in that circle, you won't even feel that it is a circle. You will say, I traveled through a straight line. You didn't travel through a straight line. You traveled through a circle. That circle, because of the big, huge diameter radius, it is seen like it is a straight line. This is one issue. Another issue, if you are going to draw a smallest line is a dot followed by a dot. It will look like a dot. A line will look like a dot. A circle looks like a line, and a line looks like a circle dot. Logic. So you have to be very careful, very wary of the logic. Okay. Yuktyā muhuḥ kurvatām. So through the logic, you have to always be very vigilant, and you have to do this classification of what's eternal and what is non-eternal. Tasmādutthamahāviraktyasimatāṃ. And through that logic, you gain this sword, asimatāṃ, the sword. You gain the sword of what? Mahavirakti, great dispassion. With this sword of great dispassion, you cut that creeper. Otherwise, there is no possibility. The sword of dispassion is the means to cut the passion. And till this, whatever we saw is common for the scientist also. The next one, mokṣaikakāṅkṣāvatāṃ. One who has the desire, one who only desires the moksha. Nothing else. That kind of dhanya, that kind of blessed one will cut the creeper of desires, attachment. That is what is said here. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.